One of the things I think is so overwhelming for people when they're going through a separation is that they're having to navigate a legal process, and there's so many different ways to get divorced. Mm-hmm. As you entered that timing and that part of the divorce where you were ready to engage a lawyer, engage a process, how did you make that decision? What resources were in front of you, and what did you and your husband end up choosing to take you through the separation process?
I think that's a really good question, because you're right. I think everyone going through this process immediately reaches out to a lawyer thinking that's your first call. And in many cases it is. But what type of lawyer do you get? In most cases, family law lawyers are very well educated and versed on all family law. It just depends on the path that you want to take. And when we first started out, I immediately went back to the lawyer that I used to write up our premarital agreement when we got married. So I was asked to sign a prenup way back. And so I went back to him because I hadn't seen him in 11 years. And I thought, oh God, here I am getting divorced. What does my prenup say? I haven't looked at it in 11 years. What is going to happen to me?
An added complication. Not everyone has.
No, and I was terrified because I honestly didn't really even know what that document said. I had put it away. I was terrified to even look at that thing, terrified to write it and get it written in the first place. But here I am thinking, oh God, like, what have I signed up for? What did I sign my life away for? Like, give me the bad news. And he was a great lawyer. He was really fantastic, so nice and kind. But through our discussions, he was a collaborative lawyer. And I had heard, collaborations where you sit down with each other and you talk about things and you really talk about what's best for you, and you split your assets, and it's never gonna go to court. So our therapist had recommended that way. It's a very open approach. But I think it works best when a couple can communicate. So for me, I thought, well, it's not going to be an easy road, because if I am having communication issues with my partner, which is one of the reasons that we got here in the first place, I don't know how in this process of getting divorced where I've made this decision, is he going to be open to collaborating at the end? Things started to get a little bit ugly, and I started to feel really threatened and vulnerable, especially with the premarital agreement that I had signed. And I felt like I needed someone who was a bit more of an advocate for women in my position. And so I went with a law firm who was really well established and well renowned for supporting women through the divorce process. And she was one of the top litigators in Canada. And she had won many, many, many cases for women in my position, even men actually as well. And going to speak to her, she was very candid. I mean, I was terrified. I thought, oh my God, I'm going to talk to a litigator. Maybe this means we're going down the court road. My ex was threatening that way anyways. And I thought, I need to protect myself. If I'm doing this once, I need to make sure that I have the right person who has my back and who knows this process better than anyone. So when I went to speak with this new lawyer, she was immediately a breath of fresh air. She listened to what I had to say. She did not fill me with false hopes. She was very realistic. She was an advocate for me and for my voice. She wanted to know what I wanted. And she just made me feel very comfortable that this also, because I chose a litigator, did not mean that it was going to court. And in fact, most lawyers don't want it to end up there anyways, and that there would be just as much of a chance for us to come to an agreement by using independent lawyers, even if they were litigators, than we would if we were using collaborators. So I felt really confident that the outcome was going to be similar. I didn't have to go the court route, but I felt more supported by her expertise and her knowledge. And also the fact that she was a woman, something in me needed to have that support and that empathy for the position that I was in.